Hey everyone, welcome to Smart Course, the go-to place for authoritative information and strategies for special needs and learning disorders, especially ADHD. Today we're going to discuss activities to do at home during the quarantine, self-isolation period. I'm sure cabin fever has fallen upon many of you and your kids by now, which is to be expected, but that doesn't mean you can't spruce up your days or even approach the same things or activities in different ways than you were before. All of the information in this video comes from Attitude Magazine, chad.org, and understood.org. First, in this video, we're going to go over some activities to try, then go into different types of activities for a more therapeutic approach, and finally, just some other things to keep in mind. Here are 4 activities you can try. First, we'll start off with the scavenger hunt. This can also be a great way to build organizational skills, time management if you do decide to use a timer and set a limit, and it's also good for critical thinking. You can also modify the instructions based on your child's abilities, age, or learning preference. You can draw pictures of what they need to find, or use open-ended questions, or even riddles and hints that aren't quite as straightforward. Second is to just save bubble wrap from anything you may have had delivered to your home. Not much is to be said here, as long as you and your child don't mind a few minutes of popping sounds. Bubble wrap is something people tend to enjoy, and it can be a sensory or fidget toy as well. In one of our previous videos, we mentioned one of our ADHD and Middle School Summit speakers, Anna Vagan, and touched on her explanation of games, which can sometimes be referred to as play therapy, and she talked about games as ways of developing different social, emotional, and organizational skills. These can be video games, board games, whatever you like, but the benefits can also extend into physical games like scavenger hunts, or even sports, or other physical games like Twister. For example, Twister can help develop motor skills and build your child's coordination. In general, games show you how your child thinks and engages with the world around them, and they're great ways to pass the time or even take a study break. Another activity is for you and your child to finish all the projects that you may have started a while ago before starting more. Finishing current projects before starting new ones facilitates a reward system for good behavior, and you can both finally check some things off your to-do list that were in limbo for what seems like an eternity. These projects can be anything that you just haven't made time to finish up, whether it's an art project or a puzzle, maybe that's organizing a room, whatever it is your child may have started that needs to be finished. In our previous video about distance learning, we mentioned designating a space just for school and designing that space or even decorating different areas based on the subject. So that could be a project to also help with their online school experience as well. The next few options for things to do at home are along the therapeutic route. To start, maintain your child's therapy routine at home if possible to prevent any sudden changes to your child's routine and structure. This can also look like continuing sessions with your child's coach if they have a coach to help with motivation or time management, organization, things like that. Or maybe your child has a tutor for school. If your child is seeing a psychologist, a therapist, or an occupational therapist, whoever it is, continue those sessions and working with that professional on whatever it is that you're trying to develop. And these can cover different kinds of skills. For example, these can be cognitive behavioral therapy skills, which is aimed towards changing negative thinking patterns and reframing how one feels about his or herself. Another is dialectical behavioral therapy, which focuses on social and emotional challenges and is often done through a series of skill-based modules. Whatever the situation is, continue working with your child's therapist from home to continue building those skills. Another alternative or supplement is music therapy. If your child knows how to play an instrument, set aside some time throughout the week for them to play that instrument or even learn a new one. They can start small with something like a recorder or a keyboard or ukulele or even a basic beginner violin, nothing terribly large or expensive. If playing instruments isn't their thing, we also have a video on music therapy talking more about different kinds of music to play that are made just for people with ADHD. You can find them on YouTube as well, but these songs and playlists can help your child relax or focus, study, or just simply reduce auditory stimulation if your child is sensitive to certain sounds or volumes. Next up is art therapy. One of the most common is arts and crafts. However, try to keep things limited to 3 or fewer steps, like color, cut, then glue, that's it. Maybe your child can just color or help make decorations for any special events or holidays coming up, or they can decorate in their area or do some arts and crafts just for fun. Things like finger painting or playing with Play-Doh can also be helpful sensory experiences. Physical activity is also a nice addition to any routine. You and your child can have a dance party for fun or as a dance break between class sessions. You two can go for a walk, or they can play with their pets, assuming you have a pet that also likes to play. They can ride their bike, you two can try at-home exercises, or you and your child can just sit outside. Anything to help break up the environment a little bit and introduce movement is a good way to go. Next up are just a couple things to keep in mind. One main thing to keep in mind is to notice which particular sense or senses your child does and doesn't tolerate well. If your child's sensitivity is visual, then try modifying the lighting to be brighter or darker, maybe a different color, things like that. You can reduce glare by drawing the blinds or curtains, and also ease up on eye contact. Eye contact can be a little distracting and make kids focus on making eye contact with you rather than actually focus on what you're saying. So let them know they don't have to make eye contact, but still need to be responsive and indicate they're actually listening. So maybe suggest looking in your general direction than right at you. If touch is tricky, you can try fidget or sensory toys. If taste and smell don't go over that well, then be mindful to mitigate or eliminate strong fragrances and notice how your child responds to certain foods based on scent or taste, not texture. I mean, of course, texture is a factor, but that's more for touch, not quite for smell or taste. If your child experiences an auditory sensitivity, then, like we mentioned before, you can play soothing music or muffle loud sounds, or definitely give your child advance notice if you or someone else is about to make a loud sound. Last thing to keep in mind is for your child to continue taking their medications as instructed by their doctor. An alternative to physically going to your doctor or pharmacy to pick up medications is a mail order service, where you can have the medications mailed directly to your home. That's something you can ask your doctor or pharmacist more about to see what the best option is for you. Dr. William Dodson, who is an expert on ADHD medicine as well as a featured speaker in our previous ADHD in Middle School Summit, says in an Attitude article that a 90-day supply is the most anyone can order of any kind of medication, whether it's a stimulant or a non-stimulant. So, if you're considering stocking up on medications for now, or at any point, a 90-day supply is your limit, so just keep that in mind. As always, follow the guidance of your doctor regarding medications, whether that's switching to another or continuing with what your child already uses in order to maintain their routine. So to recap, today we went over some activities to try, like a scavenger hunt, finishing existing projects, and games in general as potentially new activities to try. We also went over some therapeutic approaches to activities like music and art therapy to continue building different skills, to relax, and to make things overall more manageable. Lastly, we went over some things to keep in mind, like being mindful of any sensory processing sensitivities as well as medications. In our upcoming series, we will be learning more about ADHD in teens and adolescents. For an expert-curated list of resources from our past summit and videos, please visit the link in the description. If you liked this video, please don't forget to like it and let us know what you liked or what you'd like to see more of in the comments below. Also, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. The more people who like, subscribe, and click the bell, comment, and do all of that, the more people will see this kind of content on YouTube, and we know some people could really use the help. Also, don't forget to share this with anyone you know who could benefit from this video. If you like, subscribe, hit the bell, comment, and sign up for our upcoming summit at this link, then we will pin your comment to the top and we will send you an expert-curated list of ADHD resources. We share tons of expert-vetted resources on parenting and education for differently abled kids, so feel free to sign up for a newsletter using the link in the description below. If you haven't watched our previous series about ADHD and other disorders, click the annotation to watch those videos. And if you want to support SmartCourse to help make sure we can continue bringing you content, check out our Kickstarter and membership pages. We also have an online course with even more specific information, step-by-step guides, and access to professionals who can help you through this process. As always, I appreciate you taking the time, and thank you for watching. See you soon!